Hello everybody on the internet watching, and welcome to the final game of week 3 of the Totally Normal Football League. We're here at a mild day at the Shit House in San Francisco as the Shitbirds welcome cross-divisional team, the Toronto Trash Pandas. And this has basically turned into a must-win game for the Shitbirds. They are already 0-2 in what has become a very hyper-competitive over their division, with the Janitors unbeaten 3-0 last Tuesday. And with the Stoats looking as good as they've been in these last week and this Tuesday, the Shitbirds will have to get wins in to stay competitive. The Trash Pandas won the opening coin toss, and they've chosen to defer their opening possession, so it's going to be Willie Goman, the new savior quarterback of the San Francisco Shitbirds, leading this offense. They stunned everybody by almost upsetting the Janitors last week. Stickler on the counter run. He high steps for a 6-yard run. Great work there on the outside. However, Willie Goman really stole the show on offense. I think he had very close to a perfect passer rating, something we haven't seen in the league in pretty much forever. And it's much needed salve to the burns they've received from Jalen Rundle Jr. and Nathan Pope, as it's that pass tipped away by Mark Swagley. And yeah, basically the biggest problem with the San Francisco Shitbirds is that both Nathan Pope and Jalen Rundle Jr. are just way too tiny. Like, they were just too small to be a quarterback, and now they have Willie Goman, who's definitely not as good of a quarterback as either of them on paper, but he's tall and he can throw a football. So the Shitbirds, that's more than enough for them in their book. Pump fake, corner route, they get it to the tight end. That's Henry Winnings on a corner route, and the offensive line of the Shitbirds buying them so much time to get that nonsense open. And that's been another key thing for the Shitbirds. Although they're 0-2, they have one of the best offensive lines in the league. The amount of pancakes this squad is able to get, I'm calling them the frickin' pancaking crew, dude. Perhaps we'll have advertising work on it. Outside pitch for Stickler gets stopped for a big loss on a blitz from Davey Hopper. I'm gonna call them the Breakfast Club. Shitbirds, 2-yard tackle for loss. They're at the Trash Pandas 29-yard line. Willie Goman, empty set, steps back to throw, tries to get it to Fibs. Dingo, missed tackle, touchdown Shitbirds. James Dingo just ran the streak route, and look at this. This is Randy Straight Cash diving for James, or that's not Straight Cash, that is the safety Austin Flarp. And I talked about this in the pre-show when I was bringing up the Gators Trash Pandas game from week 1, and that Randy Straightcash and Austin Farp are continually blown out by Gators wide receiver Andy Overnight, and how that basically led to their downfall in that game from being up a score to how that ended. And I feel like if they're unable to lock down James Dingle on that left side of the field, this is going to be a long visit to San Francisco for them. And just like that, a 49-yarder from Goman to Dingo gets things riled up. And yeah, the Shitbirds, I believe, are a completely different team from when they were, even in week 2. So Ken Fudge kicking it off to the Trash Pandas, to an awaiting Chip Cord Ripper. Some blocks in front, but Cord Ripper gets tackled from the side. And the Trash Pandas will begin this drive from the 30. So it'll be Doug Gongshow out to lead this Trash Pandas crew. And you have third-year players Chip Cord Ripper and Andy Codplayer at wide receiver. But no Ricky Bonbon. He's out for quite a number of games. So it'll be Jim Rat taking his spot. What the heck kind of throw was that? That was supposed to be to the flat to Bill Bonk, but no idea what the hell kind of dealio that was about. In fact, I don't know how that was an intentional grounding, so Doug Gongsho with a quick get rid of it. Gongsho back to throw under pressure. He'll throw out of a sack. Just the immediate pressure from Olatoya Jr. and co. And that's going to bring up a quick third down, and Doug Gongsho is having trouble getting adjusted to the shithouse here tonight. Twin tight ends. Gongsho back to throw. Big blitz. Andy Cod player steps out from coverage. He has to step behind the sticks to catch the pass, and it'll be tackled by Chad Candy, and it'll be 4th and close. Edward Gogo out to punt away. And who's that receiving the kickoff? That is Justin Threadbare. This is the biggest news of the week as far as I'm concerned. Number 48, Justin Threadbare, the normable winning running back for the Beefers, was signed to the Shitbirds this week after Silva Goldman, their rookie cornerback, was injured and they had to make some changes. Willie Goldman throwing deep to James Dingo. He's tackled by Terry Shutcrunch at the TP's 45. Oh my god, this is going to be a long day for the Trash Pandas, isn't it? But yes, Justin Threadbare is going to be cornerback number 1. He'll be going one-on-one against Chip Cordripper. And he'll also be the punt kick returner as well for the Shitbirds. Hand off to Phil Stickler up the left side. He'll be good for 4 yards. Make it 5 yards as the Shitbirds are at the Trash Pandas' 43-yard line. So another handoff. Nice sidestep there by Phil Stickler. He's fighting against Terry Shutcrunch. He breaks the tackle to the 30. I can't believe it. Phil Stickler is a mortal. He fought for every single one of those damn yards to the 30-yard line. And my God, you just do not fight against one of the best safeties in the entire league like that unless you are one of the best of all time. And Phil Stickler is definitely earning that title already. Quick handoff to the fullback. Nick Showers is only going to go for about 2.5 yards. Snap. Goldman almost throws an interception to Randy Straightcash. They were trying to get it to James Dingo on an out route. That'll bring up a 3rd and long for Willie Goldman. They are within Ken Fudge field goal distance. Willie Goldman, oh my God, Terry Shutcrunch baited that post route amazingly. Holy moly, that looked like a wide open throw. That was either to Trent Jabidi or Kelsey Ma'auto, and Terry Shutcrunch just gave it enough room to make it look wide open, and he ate it up when it was presented. That was fantastic work from the 3rd-year safety. Jim Ratt on the draw play. He'll spin a Rooney before falling over. He found the gap, but he also found the calibration options in his joystick settings. As he spins around. That'll be a 2-yard gain for Jim Ratt. Jim Ratt up the middle. He'll vibrate. He hasn't been tackled yet. He hasn't been tackled. There he goes. Okay, 3-yard gain from Jim Ratt. That is the football equivalent of trying to look busy when the manager comes around. We'll bring up a 3rd and 5. Oh, that play action over the middle. Gets it to the tight end, Bill Bonk. And that'll be a third down conversion. The Gong Show now at the Trash Pandas 42-yard line. Meet 4-man in motion. Outside pitch to Jim Rat. Nice stick twirl. And the ball's loose. Jim Rat fumbles the ball, and Justin Threadbare, that's not Threadbare, sorry, that is 58. That is Dante Rimsitter picks up the ball. And the Toronto Trash Pandas' problems with ball security continues to rear its ugly head, as now the Shitbirds have a short field in front of them at the Trash Pandas 40-yard line. Phil Stick at the lone back at a trips bunch set up. Deep corner pass, and this one is good. And that's another touchdown for the Shitbirds as Trent Jabidi gets his first touchdown of the game. And man, after Terry Shutcrunch hands you a possession on a silver platter with one of the best plays I've ever seen a safety make in the league, you hate to see it all go away because Jim Rat couldn't hold on to the ball through a tackle. And here we are once again at the Trash Pandas end zone as the Shitbirds put another 6 on the board. Of course, if you spin around that many times in a game, that's sure to make you dizzy, perhaps contributing to Jim Rat's issues. But man, the Shitbirds rapidly putting the Trash Pandas in a hole here in the first quarter, up 14-0 with that Ken Fudge extra point. Chip Cord Ripper returns the ball. He's past the 30, hops over a downed safety. Oh, that's not a safety. That is a downed number 24. That's Treverius Meatflank. That is a safety. So the Trash Pandas need to get something going, and to their credit, they haven't been too bad, but it's just weirdo things like ball security. Meet 4-man in motion, making this a twin tight end set. It's going to be an outside pitch to Jim Rat, who continues his obsession with spinning the stick, but he's not tackled down. He gets like 8 yards on that. Why does this man keep spinning? I'm just thinking about like the freaking Rat JPEG spinning around. An 8-yard run for Jim Rat. Like, this is the most comical run-ins I've seen in the TNFL in a long time. Gun Show in the shotgun. He'll hand it off to Jim Rat, who goes up the A gap to the 45 for a first down. And that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. The Shitbirds capitalizing on a forced fumble and scoring their second touchdown of the game late in the first. The first touchdown, of course, being a James Dingo streak route that Willie Goman excellently threw to him. And Gong Show's in the shotgun to begin this first down. Cover 1 shell from the Shitbirds. That's crazy. Throw a corner route to Andy Codplayer, and it's not where it needed to be. In fact, it was almost to Chad Candy. Bad throw there from Gong Show. Jim Rat up the right side. He'll get 7 yards. Trying to redeem himself after his forced fumble. Old school RuneScape level 1 Rat. I'll bring up a 3rd and 2. Gong Show will throw a corner route. Tries to get it to, again, Bill Bonk, who the Trash Pandas have really been relying on for some reason, especially for these 3rd downs, but incomplete as Bill Bonk was in some major Shitbirds traffic. It's going to bring up a 4th and 2, but Edward Gogo has to punt it away. Outside pitch to Phil Stickler. Man, that gets 5 more yards than it really should have. Austin Flarp just couldn't initiate a grapple to bring down the run. And Stickler really got more yardage than he honestly should have. Fighting all the way to the 25-yard line for a 5-yard gain. Goman sets... that is Henry Winnings in motion. Outside pitch again. And they'll get it to the outside. They'll get about 2 yards before Shut Crunch tackles down the run. Then they'll bring up third. I wonder what the AI is going to do here with a 2-score lead. Are they going to risk running the 3 yards? Or is Goman going to go back to throw and perhaps go deep with Dingo once again? We'll see. Play action here might be very spicy. Yeah, baby! Throws it deep to James. Oh, that's not James Dingo. That's Kelsey Ma'ato at the 20, at the 10. Touchdown, Shitbirds. It's 21-0. This is Shitbirds football that we're used to seeing way back in Season 1. The run streaks and throw it deep that we saw from Ma'ato and Dumoulin and Andy Overnight in his time there. I think we have a return to form as the fans fight over Ma'ato's football. And the Trash Pandas are in a bad way. And we're only a quarter and a bit through this game. The kick is good from Ken Fudge, and it's 21-0 here in San Francisco. It's not just Randy Straightcash, but I think it's also Austin Flarp that's the issue here. Just the entire left side of the field just seems very weak. And I think teams doing their homework are really going to rip the heart out of that left side. And with the Shitbirds putting James Dingo there, this Chip Cord Ripper returns the ball to 25. Like I said, this is going to be a long day for the Trash Pandas. So Doug Gongshow under the gun now in more ways than one. Down 3 scores early. The Trash Pandas are going to have to really adjust their game plan here, because what they brought initially has not been working. Jim Ratt up the middle of the field, shakes a tackle to the 30. Jim Ratt does have an average of 4, so he's doing pretty good, but I think we're getting to the point now where the Trash Pandas need yards, and they need yards quick. But it feels weird saying that again with just so much football left to play, but with how explosive the Shitbirds have been, you just risk going down even further if the running game doesn't work. Meet 4-man to the 45! Great post route. Gets open and gets a good chunk of yardage. That's exactly what the Trash Pandas are looking for. Jim Ratt on the counter run, off tackle. He'll turn upfield to the Shitbirds' 45-yard line. He's been on fire since his forced fumble. I guess since he fumbled the ball, I guess. Really trying to make up for his mistake. But now we have Doug Gongshow in a 4-wide receiver set with Meat 4-man in his tight end. Quick throw, almost intercepted by the rookie Max Geigenham. Third and inches. If there's one time for Brett Smarts to dust off the controller, it's right now. And play action, throw it deep, it's Cord Ripper to the 10, touchdown Trash Pandas, and finally they put points on the board. The play action, the spicy play actions this game, the Trash Pandas finally get some spice in the soup here. Not sure what the hell that saying means, but it's the one I went with. Is Tim Bencher out to kick the extra point? And the Trash Pandas have made up one of that scores of the deficit, but they are still 2 touchdowns behind as the Shitbirds will get the ball back 21-7 with 4 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in the first half. The Trash Pandas need an answer for James Dingo and fast. They can stop the run fairly okay. Stickler has an over 4 yard per run average. They can get the Shitbirds to a 3rd down. The problem is when Goman throws it. Draw play. Stickler gets shoved over. That feel when. Now, we haven't seen a lot from... Oh my god, that run absolutely styled on. That was a handoff to Nick Showers that was stopped instantly. Now, we haven't heard anything of Defensive Player of Season 2, Michael Hotz yet. He's on James... Yeah, he's on Kelsey Maato. And Maato was only targeted on that one breakaway touchdown. But to be fair, that was a weird flipped formation. They're going to hand it off to... Oh my god, okay. Wow. That was a really weird draw play from 3rd down from the Shitbirds, and that stopped for no gain. Good work from the Trash Pandas defense. That's the best we've seen out of them all game long. And hopefully the Trash Pandas have had some adjustments put in. Jim Rat has been cleaning up. Chip Cord Ripper is facing the wrong way to receive this kick. So he's at the 30, and he'll be tackled down. And that's a penalty on San Francisco. Damian Full Moon holding, and so the Trash Pandas are going to get 10 free yards with a mail-in rebate, and they'll start this drive from their own 43. Gong Show in the shotgun with an empty formation. He's looking to throw it deep. Andy Cod player has separation, but he's brought down by Jamahao Tungatung for his first sack of the game. If the Trash Pandas offensive line could have bought him like half a second more, I think we would have seen a deep throw, or maybe that would have been a bit too late, because I think if he had thrown it there, it would have been out of bounds out the back of the end zone. We've seen a couple of times, but Gong Show is going to continue to stay in the shotgun. We've hit the 2-minute warning, by the way. Throw to the corner route, tries to get it to meet Foreman at the Shitbirds 45, but he can't get his hands on it. That's going to bring up 3rd down. Trash Pandas riding a bit of momentum. They scored a touchdown on their last drive, and they were able to 3-and-out the Shitbirds. They need to convert on this 3rd and forever. But they'll hand it off to Jim Rat to try and get a better punt, so they will concede the down. Or the drive, perhaps. So they'll get Edward Go-Go out to punt. Trash Pandas soaking up as much time as they can away from the Shitbirds. Edward Go-Go line drive down the middle of the field. Justin Threadbare returns it, stiff arms. But can't make it much further past the Shitbirds' 20-yard line. The Shitbirds tried to get into a more comfortable groove, handing it off for all of their plays for last drive. However, it got nowhere, so expect Goman to go to the air, and that he does. Oh, nice tip away there from, first time I'm saying this name today, but a Stanley Steak Sauce. Yeah, we didn't end up seeing much of Jay McDiggle from the Gators in the game earlier tonight, and we haven't really seen much of Stanley Steak Sauce with the Shitbirds, pretty much avoiding him at all costs, doing a lot of outside runs. So perhaps that is intentional. 1 minute and 4 seconds remaining in the half. Goldman back to throw. He's got a good corner route, but he will not go for it. He'll get it to Dingle on the comeback, and they get it past the 40. Timeout for the Shitbirds, their first of the half. James Dingo's third reception for his 110th yard. And Goldman continues to play from the shotgun at the Shitbirds' 43-yard line. Goldman receives the snap, throws a quick one, and gets it into the hands of somebody. I wasn't able to get their number. That might have been Nellie Rockhurst. It's hard to tell. Shitbirds using their second timeout. It was a 7-yard reception. It makes sense if it's Nellie Rockhurst. Goldman wants to get back to throw. It's a quick throw to Kelsey Otto. He gets inside of Michael Hotz. Hotz takes him down at the 20. That was an incredible work there from Otto. He gets his third reception for 109 yards. That's 2 wide receivers now for the Shitbirds with over 100 yards. Goldman, not a lot of pressure from the Trash Pandas. Pump fakes, and he throws the check down to an awaiting Nellie Rockhurst. 29 seconds remaining on the board and counting. 2-yard reception. Goldman in the shotgun. Goldman stepping out of the pocket, throws a corner route to Pierre Dumoulin. Touchdown, Shitbirds! And the Shitbirds increase the margin of victory to 3 scores yet again. Dumoulin getting his first touchdown of the game. That's Goldman's third. This kid is insane. Extra point. Kick good. The score 28-7 with 12 seconds left in the first half. The Shitbirds look like their season 1 selves here, and that is a scary proposition. Last season, it was the Over Here division that was really the envy of everybody. You had the Gators 8-2, and below them you had the Rollers, who also looked incredibly dominant. But man, does the Over There division look like the division to be in this season. And what a squib kick, getting a lot of yards for Chip Cordripper up the left side. He's to the 50, he's up to the 40, he's to the 30. The squib kick goes terribly wrong for the Shitbirds, and Cordripper flips into the end zone for a return touchdown. That was just an awful series of bounces for a squib kick that was intended to waste as much time as possible. It got all the way down the field, and the Trash Pandas had a bunch of blocks set up on the left side there in front of Cordripper, and just like that, the Trash Pandas return it to a 2-score game. That's crazy. We got Cordripper save us chance going in the chat right now for the Trash Pandas. You love to see it. Justin Threadbare at the 1-yard line will get tackled down at past the 30, and that'll be the first quarter of play. We got a high-scoring affair here. However, the Trash Pandas 2 scores down. The Shitbirds leading 28-14 as we have another Willie Goldman masterpiece here in San Francisco. But the Trash Pandas will get the first possession of the half. And Chip Cord Ripper, who just scored a kick return touchdown, will try to make it 2 in a row here. But that's going to... Oh, he shakes the tackle at the 40... At the 35, sorry. Trash Pandas beginning the drive at the 36, so now it's Doug Gongshow, who's had trouble, for the most part, getting into a rhythm on passing offense. However, he's been able to shake some of that off with a big Chip Cord Ripper touchdown. Throws it to the flat to a wide open meat 4-man to the 50. As long as Willie Goman doesn't throw an interception, we might see another insanely high passer rating from him. He's turning into, out of nowhere, the best QB in the league right now. Shitbirds loading up the tackle box. Outside pitch to Jim Rad. He's got blockers, though. 2 great pancakes, making a double kill for 71 and shakes a tackle. A big 20-yard run helped by Logan Haller. And there is the blocking we've come to expect from the Trash Pandas offensive line, especially from Logan Haller, who once in a while can just go sicko mode on some pancakes, man. It's nuts. Brett Smart's in to relieve Jim Rant, meet 4-man on the move, and the Shitbirds really stacking up the tackle box here. Look at this, outside pitch is going to get slaughtered. We'll see if he falls forward for no gain, him being Brett Smarts. Second and 10, Brett Smart's counter run, sees that Dante Rimsitter has a free run at him. Tries to spin out of the way, but he just gets taken down. And that'll bring up a 3rd and long for the Trash Pandas. They are in field goal territory, but they need a touchdown, realistically here, to keep this a fair game. Gongshow in trouble, and he throws an interception to Justin Threadbare. New Shitbird for this week, the former Beefer, in to relieve an injured Silva Goldman, gets an interception. Intended for Kyle Katam. And the first interception of the game is thrown. Counter run for Phil Stickler. Oh, it's a play action. He'll throw it to James Dingo, and it's going back the other way. Randy Straight Cash gets the pick intended for James Dingo, and it looks like, man, it's another classic TNFL interception to interception. And that's going to really hurt Willie Goman's passer rating. So I guess I can finally shut up about it. And the Trash Pandas gain yardage, as they are at the Shitbirds 41. Gongshow stepping back to throw. Tries to get it to Andy Codplayer on a stick rope, but that was well spotted by Chad Candy, who steps out way ahead of the play and deflects the pass. Darren Langsdale showing pressure. Hello, number 32. He'll get picked up. Jim Rat high stepping. Picks up a block to the 25. It gets it past the 25. He looked like he had green grass in front of him, but was caught up from behind by number 26. That is Marvin Hodgepodge. Jim Rat was in danger of getting out of there. Trash Pandas heading down the field. Almost to the red zone of the Shitbirds. Jim Rat, the lone back with 2 tight ends. Gongshow continues to throw the ball here. Throws it to the flat. Tries to get it to Bill Bonk. But it's tipped away. And that is Jamaha Otungatung playing coverage. That is somebody with 40 speed protecting the flat. God bless you, sir. Second down for the Trash Pandas. Jim Rat, the lone back. He's going to go on the counter run, off tackle, no one in front of him. He's going to go, break a tackle to the 10. He's trying to get to the 5. He'll get it to about the 6. Huge run for Jim Rat. Yeah, a player we haven't seen much of yet today is Andy Cod player. I don't think he's got a single reception yet, with just all the other crazy stuff that's going on. Brett Smart's in to relieve. And he'll take the handoff right up the gut. He'll get stuck up the line, but he'll find a cutback. Touchdown, Trash Pandas. That was crazy. Watch what number 22 does here. That's Brett Smarts, and he'll just, excuse me, and just meet four-man opens up the secret emergency exit. And that's a 6-yard run for Brett Smarts. That's crazy. And the Trash Pandas are fighting back. They reduced the deficit to 1 score. The Shitbirds leading 28-21 here. And this is points here in San Francisco. If you're a Shitbirds fan, you're probably ripping all of the hair out of your scalp as we speak. You think that you have your roster as the best it's been in so very, very long. Willie Goman throwing an insanely high level. And you've got James Dingo being a fantastic wide receiver, and you're 0-2 on the season. Like, if the Trash Pandas are able to come back here and get back in this game, what are you going to feel like if you're a Shitbirds fan? Like, what can you do at this point? Especially with how the over-there division is. Of course, now's not the time to panic. You've got Willie Goman. You put a lot of faith in. Phil Stickler up the right side gets about 3 yards before Stanley Steak Sauce tackles him down. The Trash Pandas need all the wins they can. They don't have to worry about an undefeated Gators squad this season. The Gators went 6-0 before the Rollers finally stopped their undefeated season. In Season 2, Willie Goman gets it to Pierre Dumoulin at the 40. On the corner route. Anyways, my point I was trying to say is that the over here division is still very much anyone's game this early in the season. The Trash Pandas would love to get back to the playoffs. Goman tries to set up what looked like a screen pass, but there was no screen to be found, and so Goman just throws it away. Apparently, if my chat is not mistaken, Jim Pratt is at an average of 7.5. That is crazy. This is going to bring up a 2nd and 10. The Shitbirds at the 43-yard line. Goman in maximum throw mode. He'll get it to Kelsey Ma'auto past the 45 for a short reception. He had to step back to catch the ball before being tackled down. So it'll bring up a 3rd and medium. It'll be 3rd and 6 to be specific. At the 47. Goman in the shotgun. Trips bunch formation. And it's a draw play, and that goes nowhere. Steak Sauce shuts that down. And the Trash Pandas might be, oh my goodness, that shanked kick. It's inside. I don't think they think that was inside the 20. A bad attempt there from Tommy Tatum. That's going to be at the 30. They're losing 9 yards on what could have just been a touchback, trying to get it cute and try to cough in it, but catches the side of his foot very badly. Now the Trash Pandas with 70.5 yards to go to pay dirt. Jim Rat off tackle. He'll get it nearly to the 25. Or sorry, almost to the 35. I forgot where we were. I said the word touchback, and apparently that hit the reset switch on my brain. Ball placed on the 34. 2nd and 5. And Tripp's bunch enjoyers really loving it today. And that was supposed to be a quick reception to, I think that was intended for Andy Codplayer, but the sidearm delivery of Doug Gongshow hit the back of one of his offensive linesmen and kind of killed the pass play, so now they've got a 3rd and medium to convert. Play action. Throws it to the corner. Meet Four-Man fighting his way for a first down to the 45. Shakes the tackle almost to the 50. Meet Four-Man, dude. And the Shitbirds have a 1-score lead, but for how long? The Trash Pandas really fighting here as we have our last play of the 3rd quarter. Outside pitch. And no blocks, unfortunately. Great work from Dante Rimsitter to stop the outside run. Trash Pandas need a 3-and-out. Any closer and you risk getting into Tim Bencher territory for a field goal. We're into the final quarter of tonight's, the last quarter of week 3 of the Totally Normal Football League. And it's the Trash Pandas beginning it at the 50 on this 2nd and 8 try. Brett Smarts and Ewan Corngrower in the backfield. Smarts only gets about 2 yards up the middle for the Trash Pandas' 100th rushing yard. Congratulations. Over the middle, tries to get it to Chip Cord Ripper, and that'll be 4th down. Cord Ripper was in a sea of Shitbirds on that post route. And Gongshow tried to force it in there, but no good. And so it'll be Edward Gogo out to punt. Well, nice backspin on that, but about a couple yards too far into the end zone for it to matter. And the Shitbirds maintain their lead with a fresh possession at the 20-yard line. 7 minutes and 20 seconds to kill. But they definitely are hoping to add to their lead. Phil Stickler ready for an outside pitch handoff, but again, they can't quite get the blocks in order, and Terry Shutcrunch breaks it all up. Second and 9. Goman, back to throw, throws it deep for Kelsey Ma'ato, but he's got 2 of the best defenders in the league on him, and that's tipped away. That was Hotz and Shutcrunch converging on the 3rd-year Shitbird. That's going to bring up a 3rd down. Third and 9, Goman for sure going for a play action out of this I formation. And that'll bring up another false start penalty for the Shitbirds, their 2nd of the game. Or forgive me, that might be their first false start penalty. They had a 10-yard holding penalty on a kickoff. That might be where I'm confusing myself. However, Goman maintains the I formation. And it looks like they'll hand it off to Phil Stickler. He'll try to turn upfield to the 20, and that'll be a 4th down. So the Shitbirds trying to get as much yardage as they can before having to punt it away. Not wanting to risk an interception, trying to go long. But they only have a 1-score lead, and that Trash Pandas crew is looking mighty motivated. Tommy Tatum catches the high snap, punts it to the left side of the field, where Chip Cord Ripper calls for the fair catch at the Trash Pandas' 41. So a short field ahead of Doug Gongshow. 6 minutes and 7 seconds left in this game. The Trash Pandas need a touchdown to tie it up. They'll hand it off to Jim Rad, who goes up the B gap for 3 yards. They work their way up to their 43-yard line. Bit of deception there. Jim Rad off tackle. Great run. He'll be almost get to the 50 before being tackled by Darren Langsdale. And this Shitbirds home crowd cheering on their defense for a critical 3rd down stop. Play action pass. Corner route. Goes for it. Make 4-man past the Shitbirds 30 on an incredible catch in heavy traffic. Gets it past Marvin Hodgepodge. Watch this. Nice split there. You got Marvin Hodgepodge and you've got... Who the heck is that? I'm looking at my notes and I don't see a 46. Was it 26? Was it a 36? I can't read numbers. Brett Smarts up the middle. Three-yard gain on the run. The Trash Pandas at the 25. Go. Oh, man. Doug Gongshow rolled out of the pocket and fired a bullet to the end zone. But it was a bit ahead of the intended receiver. That'll bring up 3rd down. The Shitbirds need to hold the Trash Pandas to a field goal. Gongshow, empty set. What in the world ping pong ass shit was that? Doug Gongshow threw it like at the ground, but it bounced off the chest of a Shitbird, hit another. This will be a 42-yarder for Tim Benchert. And the kick is looking wobbly, but it's good. As we're under 4 minutes to go in the game here, the Shitbirds have a 4-point lead. And if I were them, I'd put at least another field goal on the board. Or giving the ball back to the Trash Pandas. The Shitbirds seem adamant in running the ball to scrape time off the clock. However, the Trash Pandas, especially, my hats are off the Stanley Steak Sauce, and Shut Crunch as well has been really good at stopping the runs, especially those outside pitches. High formation, Steak Sauce pinching in. After that touchback, it's the Shitbirds at the 20-yard line. Counter run from Phil Stickler off tackle, and he'll get 5 yards before Shut Crunch tackles him at the knees. Stickler gets the ball. 1st down, Shitbirds past their own 30. This is exactly what you want from the Shitbirds. You want a methodical drive that shaves off as much time off the clock as possible. And ideally, you want to end this with some points for some security. The Trash Pandas, if they are able to get a freak touchdown somehow... Oh, and that's number 93. That's Dion Sizzler gets encroachment. And the Shitbirds are just going to elect to take the free 5 yards. It'll be 1st and 5 at the Shitbirds' 37-yard line. Nick Pacer, the lone back. Gonna hand it off to Nick Pacer, and he is steak sauced for a loss. Trash Pandas 1-1. They could go 2-1 and stay very much in the over there divisional race with a tied record. The Shitbirds need a win to be 1-2 and keep up with the Janitors and the Stoats, who will surely take off as the season progresses. As we hit the 2-minute warning. So what will the Shitbirds do here? They got a 3rd down and 2 yards. Will we see Goman start throwing it, or will we see a more conservative run game be held to? Fullback to Nick Showers to the 45 is good for a 1st down as the Trash Pandas use their first timeout. I feel like having Goman throw the ball here is a bit of a trap. You really do not want to give up your 2nd interception of the game, especially when it could mean the Trash Pandas scoring a game-winning touchdown. I think you just got to stick with Phil Stickler here, and they do, but man, converged upon well. As Devin Childs brings down the runner. 2 yards on the play. Shitbirds at their 47. A minute 54 seconds remaining in the game. It's going to be another Phil Stickler. High steps to avoid the tackle. Tries to jump over another body. Tries to turn up. There's just... Oh my... It's still going. That was almost for a 1st down. And there's a clipping penalty, so it didn't matter. That play ate up on Davey Hopper's injured. I was about to say that play ate up a lot of time for how much nothing happened in a long period of time. But Davey Hopper, outside linebacker with a wrist injury, and the Trash Pandas are really biting their fingernails right now because they already have 2 ongoing injuries. And they'll try to get it to number 27 as Nick Pacer, yep. But that's going to go for no gain, so the Shitbirds are going to have to punt it away here. A minute 33 and counting. Oh, it's 3rd down. Sorry. I thought it was 4th. It's 3rd and 21 after the penalty. And they'll give it to Pacer on a draw play to the 40. So the Shitbirds will punt it away. So the Shitbirds opting not to pass it at all, trying to avoid any risky plays. And with Tommy Tatum shanking it last punt, I don't have too much faith that he can put the Trash Pandas down too badly with this punt, but maybe a line drive to the back of the end zone might be in order. It's up to Tatum to shut me up and restore my faith in him. They'll wait as long as possible here, 54, 53 seconds. They'll probably wait another 7 before they snap. So the Trash Pandas will get the ball back with roughly 40 seconds left. And there's the snap, 44, 43 seconds remaining. Cord Ripper at the 20 will return it down to almost the 35. So this is the drive of the game. Either the Trash Pandas score a touchdown and potentially leave San Francisco 2-1 on the season with no timeouts remaining, or the Shitbirds hold off the offense and claim their first victory of the season. Gong Show, empty set, stands in the shotgun, throws it to the flat, nearly throws an interception to Dante Rimsitter, and that'll be 2nd down. "32 seconds paused on the clock after that incompletion. The Trash Pandas at their own 35. Gong Show, empty set in the shotgun. 4 wide receivers and meat for man. Tries to get it. Oh, and that is Cy Mayo, or Jaden Da, actually. Wide receiver number 5 can't hold on to the ball through the tackle, and that's going to bring up a 3rd down. This San Francisco Shitbirds crowd really riled up for this 3rd down defense. This could be the game. It will be the game, with the Trash Pandas out of timeouts. They have to swing for the fences here. And under pressure, Olatoya Jr. nearly gets to the quarterback, and this is going to be the fourth down of all fourth downs for the Trash Pandas yet this season. It is now or never. Will it be Chip Cord Ripper or Andy Cod Player? Who will Doug Gongshow throw a deep to? This is it. He throws it, tries to get it to Andy Cod Player, but it's tipped away by Marvin Hodgepodge, and that will be game. The San Francisco Shitbirds get their first win of the season against the visiting Trash Pandas squad, and both teams will go to 1-2. Trash Pandas out of timeouts. All the Shitbirds need to do is kneel, and we have ourselves the last game of Week 3, and Willie Goman continues to be the savior of San Francisco. Not only that, but him and James Dingo have really turned this offense around. And with Justin Threadbare now signed to the team after the team cut Nathan Pope, God, I can only imagine what this team is going to look like in a couple weeks' time when they get Silva Goldman back. And that will be the game. So this is not disastrous for the Trash Pandas. It's still a very close race in the over there division, with the leaders of the division, the Hellcats and the Gators, 2-1. They've still got a long season ahead of them, but the Shitbirds needed this win because it would have been disastrous for them to go down 0-3, especially with how the over there is going. Willie Goman, 106.8. He has not yet had a game where he's dropped below 100 passer rating, so that'll be something I'm going to be keeping my eyes on over the course of this season. 4 passing touchdowns against 2 interceptions on, man, 19 attempts. 63% completion rate. Doug Gongshow didn't really have a good one. Although he only threw 1 interception, he only completed 29% of his passes, and that's just really rough. Your rushing leader is Jim Ratt. He scored a century mark there. Great work for him. No rushing touchdowns. He did have a forced fumble, but I think his play after that point made up for it. Trash Pandas are really good at stopping the run, it seems. Oscar Dudeman had a tough time running against that front 7. It looks like Phil Stickler was held below 50 yards this game, which is great news. The problem is that opens up yourself to the hydra of James Dingo and Kelsey Ma'ato, both of them scoring over 100 yards receiving on just 4 or less receptions. That's crazy. 7 reception between the two of them. And Meat Foreman, the most targeted player on the Trash Pandas, with 65 yards on 4 catches. Which is weird because, like, man, like Bill Bonk got inordinately targeted this game, I want to say. Which is pretty crazy. Blocking, surprisingly, we're not seeing Mark Bussell in the double digits. He only had 7, poor him. And Doomland also getting monster numbers, but it's Logan Haller with 8 pancakes, but 1 allowed sack, unfortunately. We'll get our pancake leader of the game. And your tackling leader, Terry Shutcrunch, with 7. He was instrumental to really helping stop the running game when he pinched up into the tackle box. And Steak Sauce, again, really giving it to the run game of the Shitbirds there. 6 tackles, 1 of them for loss. Interceptions done by Threadbare and Justin Threadbare, and it's Randy Straightcash and Terry Shutcrunch picking off Willie Goman, but unfortunately those turnovers not enough to get the win. And your sacks, just Jamaho Tungatong with a sack. Everyone else was tuck ruled naturally. And yeah, it was Dante Rimsitter with that forced fumble on Jim Ratt. Excellent stuff.